Dylan. Emily's eyes lit up with happiness. We're going to have a baby. Hopefully, a boy this time, the man asked without a smile. And what if it's a girl? The young woman smiled. Mind you, Dylan frowned, if it's a girl again, I won't let her cross the threshold. I'm not kidding, he warned, noticing Emily's skeptical look. I'm telling you in advance so there won't be any misunderstandings later. I don't need a daughter, and that's not up for discussion. I said it, and that's final. In her heart, Emily didn't really believe that Dylan would treat her and the baby this way, but she decided to ask the doctor for an ultrasound referral, just in case. Well, Mom, you're having a girl. Congratulations. The little one is healthy and doing well. All indicators are normal, no need to worry. A girl, the young woman cooled down. I don't need a girl, my husband and I wanted a boy. Doctor, do something. Sorry, I'm not God. I can't change the baby's gender. Be happy that she's healthy. Come back next time for a boy. You're still young, you can have more children. I don't need a son next time, I need one now. Please, take another look, maybe you made a mistake. Could you have made a mistake? No mistake can be made, the doctor said defensively. You have a girl, you can see her perfectly on the monitor. So, rejoice for the future dad. Fathers usually look forward to having a daughter. He'll come around and demand an heir later. Not in my case. What should I do? Emily thought in despair on her way home. How do I go back home? What if he really carries out his threat? But neither I nor the baby are to blame for what happened. And why tell him about it at all, she suddenly decided. I'll say it's a boy. And when the girl is born, it will be too late to change anything. He won't kick us out onto the street. What did the doctor say? Dylan eagerly greeted his wife in the hallway. A boy? A boy, the young woman lied, without blinking an eye, although she felt uneasy inside. My love, her husband shouted. I'm so happy. I've been dreaming of an heir, and soon he'll be born. We need to celebrate. We're going to a restaurant immediately. Tonight is such a joyful evening. Yes, we're going to have a real party. Order anything you want. Today, you're the queen. Emily felt guilty deep inside. She knew she hadn't been fair to her husband. It's nothing, she reassured herself. Dylan loves me, he'll forgive me. I can explain. And besides, he forced me to lie. Why set silly conditions? What could I do? Have an abortion? Can you really kill your own child? I'm sure everything will be fine, he'll love our daughter. The pregnancy went smoothly, and Emily gave birth to a daughter on time. Dylan stayed in the maternity ward until morning, occasionally approaching the registration window. Hasn't my wife given birth yet? He asked. How impatient you are, the nurses laughed. Only cats give birth quickly. The time will come, and we'll inform you. Go home, get some rest, and your wife will delight you with the birth of a son or daughter. A son. I will have a son, he insisted, but instead of going home, he continued to wait, crouching in a corner of the vestibule on a comfortable leather sofa, probably placed there specifically for such cases. Dylan probably fell asleep because suddenly he woke up, not quite understanding where he was. Then he jumped to his feet and rushed to the registration window again. So, did she give birth? She did, the girl in the white coat smiled. Congratulations, you have a daughter. What do you mean, a daughter? The young dad stared at her in disbelief. It can't be, we came for a son. What's it to me? The girl shrugged. So, what does this mean? Dylan clenched his fists. Was I deceived? Daddy, rejoice. The girl was born healthy, with a good weight, and Mom feels great. Go home calmly. Your wife will rest after childbirth, and you can talk to her. I don't want to wait. I have to talk to her right now. He decisively headed to the maternity ward. Stop, a nurse ran after him. You can't go in there. Dylan didn't listen. He burst into Emily's room. You deceived me, he menacingly said, glaring at his wife with hatred. You played me for a fool. What were you hoping for? Thought you could get away with it? You're wrong. I warned you that I didn't want a daughter. I hope you'll change your mind, or did you expect a boy to magically appear in your belly instead of a girl? Now deal with it. I'm keeping my word. I won't let myself be made a fool of by anyone. Dylan. Emily was in despair. Dylan, don't go. I'm not guilty that we have a daughter. And what did our girl do wrong to you? Maybe a boy will be born next time? Dylan, my love, you can't be serious right now, can you? You can't just leave like this. Please, reconsider. An angry doctor entered the room and sternly told the unruly visitor, leave the room immediately. The man didn't argue, threw one more angry glance at Emily, turned around, and left, not even looking back, leaving his wife in tears. Emily, one evening, returning from work, the girl heard. Is that you? Can't believe my eyes. Leslie, squinting at the beautiful young woman, she asked. Of course, can't believe how much I've changed recently. Not that you've changed. I just didn't expect to see you. How long has it been since we last saw each other? We haven't met once after school. Listen, let's go somewhere. I hope there's time for an old acquaintance. You'll tell me how you're doing. Do you have a family? Where do you work or study? Leslie bombarded Emily with questions. Okay, let's sit down, the girl agreed. There's a cozy cafe around the corner. I like to sit there. The girls ordered coffee, and while waiting for it, they talked, enjoying the reunion. I can't wait to find out. Are you married? Leslie asked. Yes, for 3 years now. I think I know who your husband is. She slyly looked at Emily. Dylan? Did I guess right? Did he find you? Yes, the young woman laughed, remembering. Thanks to you, we met again. I wanted to thank you for a long time, but I didn't even know where you work and live. But I always knew everything about you, boasted the former classmate. And how are you? Have you had children? Fine, Emily shrugged. No luxury or wealth, of course. Yes, and the apartment is rented, but together with my beloved man. You know, with a loved one, even a shack is paradise. I'm not complaining. Oh, I remember, you were crazy about him even in school, and no wonder, he was always a cheerful, carefree, handsome guy. All the girls were crazy about him. Even you, the quiet, modest one. That's true, Emily said quietly. Back then, he only saw me as a friend. What else could I hope for with my ordinary appearance? He didn't perceive me as a girl. But you wrote essays to him and solved tests for him, right? Thanks to you, he passed that exam. Yes, that happened, Emily smiled, remembering. He would take my notebooks without saying a word, then give me a friendly peck on the cheek and fall into the arms of another one of his passions. And I could only watch him wistfully and envy the lucky girl. Nothing smiled at me. But he danced with you at the prom, Leslie recalled. Oh, how we envied you. Exactly, only then he honestly admitted that he saw me only as a friend. You know how painful it was to hear that from a guy because of whom my pillow didn't dry at night. It was a real disaster for me. Oh, really? I didn't know. We were foolish and naive back then, jealously afraid for you. Emily sighed, remembering the conversation at the prom. The evening was in full swing, but Emily didn't really feel like having fun. She smiled, of course, but her heart was bleeding that the object of adoration didn't even glance in her direction. Dylan was showing attention to everyone but her. He didn't notice her, as if she were an empty space. She was about to leave, feeling like an outsider. Suddenly, slow music started playing, and she noticed him, her Dylan, walking towards her. Her heart skipped a beat, and it pounded rapidly somewhere in her throat. Her hands became sweaty with excitement. No, he's not coming to me, flashed in her mind. Why would he invite me to dance? Everyone will laugh at him afterward. Look, that beauty from the next class can't take her eyes off him. Am I, a plain girl, worthy of dancing with Dylan? While Emily tormented herself with doubts, the guy approached her. The girl felt a faint scent of alcohol and expensive cologne. And also, that particular scent by which she could recognize him even with her eyes closed among thousands of men. It stirred her imagination and made her heart beat even faster. Can I invite you to dance? Dylan asked, extending his hand. Yes, Emily whispered because her voice disappeared due to embarrassment. She trembled in his embrace. The girl quickly looked around, expecting everyone to start laughing at them, but no one paid attention to the dancers. Emily, Dylan said as he hugged her. You're such a cool girl. I always knew I could count on your help. It was so great. Thank you. I'll never forget our friendship. You'll remain the brightest memory. It's a pity that school years end so quickly. Now you don't need my friendship anymore, she asked sadly, looking into his eyes. Come on. You, he hugged her tightly, are my friend forever. Emily felt his heart beating against her chest. We will definitely call and meet, he said. Promise? Of course. Friends are not abandoned. Especially such loyal ones like you. For a while, Dylan did keep his promise and called frequently. Emily eagerly awaited each call, rejoicing like a child when she heard his voice. Hey, how are you? He cheerfully asked. I already miss our get-togethers when you explained homework to me. I miss your support. How is your study going? Emily inquired. Oh, with difficulty. I could use your head right now. Tell me what the problem is, maybe I can help. No, it's material mechanics, you won't understand. It's a mess. Okay, Dylan usually redirected the conversation at the most unexpected moment. See you. We're going to a nightclub with the guys, they're already waiting for me. Don't be bored. Until we talk again. Emily lived from call to call, which became less frequent. Emily, her roommate, sometimes called. There's an event in the dorm today. Will you come? No, I don't want to, the girl refused. Having finished all her chores, she covered herself with a blanket, turned away from the wall, holding the phone, waiting for Dylan's call. You can't stay locked in your room all the time, her friends tried to convince her. You'll go crazy. What if he doesn't call today? I'll wait, she replied, indicating that she didn't want to discuss this topic. Why did your paths diverge? Leslie's voice pulled her out of reminiscences. The out of sight, out of mind principle worked, the young woman chuckled. He stopped calling, and he disappeared for a long 5 years. I knew nothing about him at all. Meanwhile, I finished college, found a good job. I even managed to rent a small apartment and move out of the dorm. You know everything about me. And were you always alone? Leslie was surprised. Did your suitors completely lose their sight, not noticing what a treasure is disappearing next to them? Why didn't you get married? I didn't meet someone like Dylan. Emily looked at her friend with a smile. Actually, I wasn't interested in guys. First, studies took up all my free time. I had no one to rely on but myself. Then work. I had to establish myself. So, I tried to linger, showing diligence. Yes, and where can you meet a decent guy? I don't go to clubs, and who even goes there? Rich people. I can't look for a husband on the internet. Besides, I didn't need anyone else. I enjoyed being alone, away from the crowd, in my apartment. Over time, the longing for family began to consume me. You know, I don't have any relatives except for my grandmother. Yes, and there were never warm relationships with her. I dreamed that someone would come into my life and take care of me. I dreamt of a loving family, of children, so I would never feel lonely again. If you remember, I'm not very sociable. Yes, I remember. Leslie looked at her intently. You mentioned having a few acquaintances from work. Well, yes. And you? So, my circle is quite narrow. Yes, and we don't see each other often, always busy with something. Exactly, so suitors are not exactly lining up for me. There's not much to choose from. I'm probably destined to be single. That's why I didn't hide from Dylan that you never got married. By the way, it was the first thing he asked me. He was so happy, really. I didn't expect that. He was so interested in you, I thought maybe something could happen between you two. Thank you. If it weren't for you. I had given up hope, and then Dylan appeared. I realized that all these years I was waiting for this moment. I would open the door, and he would say, "Well, hello. How are you?" Don't mention it, Leslie smiled. We happened to meet him by chance. He didn't even say thank you for your address, by the way. I'll let him know. Emily waved goodbye to Leslie. She ordered another coffee and sipped it slowly, lost in memories. Before her eyes, the picture of the most significant meeting of her life emerged after a long separation. A sudden knock on the door startled Emily. She wasn't expecting anyone and was comfortably settled in bed with a book. She threw on a robe and went to answer it. Opening the door, she froze, her eyes wide with surprise. Dylan? She stammered, seeing her high school love at the threshold. Her heart pounded wildly, and breathing became difficult. How did you find me? I wasn't expecting you. Will you let me in? He didn't take his eyes off her. Or will you keep me on the doorstep? She hesitated for a moment, then stepped aside. Come in. Dylan stepped over the threshold. Emily stood still, involuntarily inhaling his familiar scent. I don't understand why you needed me. And how did you find my address? I really wanted to see how you live. Yesterday, I accidentally met Leslie. She told me you're here and still not married. He looked into the bedroom, into the kitchen. I didn't believe it. Thought she was joking. I thought I'd come, and there would be a husband and kids. Decided to check for myself. Now I see for sure, you really don't have a man. I'm insanely glad. He stopped in front of her. I can't believe I'm seeing you again. So many years have passed, and you've hardly changed. He reached out and ran his palm through her hair. Just got more beautiful. You can say the same, the girl blushed. What a blind fool I was, searching for someone else. Happiness is right here, next to me. Just reach out your hand. Emily, how have you been? Are you even a little happy to see me again? I don't know, Emily evasively replied, blushing. Let's go to the kitchen, I'll make you some tea. And how have you been? She asked, pouring tea into cups. Her hands trembled slightly from nervous tension. If you want to know if I'm married, yes, I was married, but I'm free now. Why is that? The girl smirked, sitting across from him at the table. As usual, didn't match personalities, or the wife turned out to be unbearable. You're almost right, just unlucky. Picked the wrong horse. No, don't think wrong, everything was fine at first. We got married seemingly in love, and then problems started. And who doesn't have them? It's not a reason to get divorced, is it? She was only after money. A lot of money. Angry, always dissatisfied with everything. Lately, I didn't even want to go home. He fell silent, sipping the cold tea from the cup. Then she got pregnant. I was happy, thought now she would calm down, and a new stage in our relationship would begin. The child would be a buffer between us. I waited for the birth almost as much as she did. But no, she used our daughter to squeeze money out of me. There was no life left. Finally, I had enough, and I left, without any regrets. Is that so? So you have a daughter? Emily asked with a dropped voice. Yes, I do. But even that didn't stop me. I left them, you know? Divorcing her. Of course, I won't abandon my daughter. I'll pay child support. Poor child. Don't you feel sorry for her at all? I do love her, of course, but I won't live with her mother. And you know why? Why? Emily looked at him inquiringly, their eyes met, and the girl's breath caught from his passionate gaze. Because I realized all my life I loved only you. The man took her hand, gently caressing it. Emily felt as if an electric shock ran through her. She trembled. It's a pity that it dawned on me too late. We lost a lot of time apart. I know it's my fault. If only I had listened to my heart back then. But it's never too late to make things right. Emily. He squeezed her hand, brought it to his lips. We're adults, let's forget conventions, and... Dylan, Emily's voice became hoarse with excitement. The girl coughed, carefully withdrew her hand. You're mistaken. We were children back then, and today, between us, there can be nothing. It's some kind of delusion. I understand, you quarreled with your wife, felt upset. I don't blame you, but you'll definitely make up. At least for the sake of your daughter, you shouldn't destroy the family. No, Emily, we would have separated sooner or later. In my heart, all these years, there was only you. I didn't realize it, but when Marina and I talked about you yesterday, something happened to me. As if I lived with my wife on purpose, just because I needed someone to live with. It seemed I loved her, but in reality, my true love was always you. I see you don't believe me. I can understand. I promised our friendship, and then I disappeared for a few years. But only to realize finally, I don't need anyone but you. You barely noticed me in school, treated me as a friend. I was your buddy. How can you now claim you love me? Of course, you were always there, supporting me, helping me with exams. I admit I was a fool and didn't see the obvious. After all these years, I understand I want to be with you. Dylan stood up, made Emily stand up, embraced her, looked into her eyes. Her legs were shaky, the closeness of her beloved made her head spin. She poorly understood what was happening. It's fate, however wild my words may sound. As soon as I decided to leave my wife, I met Marina. You're not married. Admit it, because of me? You're too confident. Do you think I didn't suspect in school how you felt about me? Yes, I didn't appreciate it because your beauty wasn't bright, provocative. You were modest, and I, young and foolish, needed something else. Now I'm here in your house, holding you in my arms, cursing myself for realizing how much I need you so late. Only you, no one else, will ever occupy my heart. He gently touched her lips with his own. Encountering no resistance, he kissed her passionately. Emily was ablaze inside, melting in strong embrace, feeling the passion spreading throughout her body. Tell me, Dylan asked, breaking the kiss, have you ever thought about me, even for a moment? Always, Emily confessed, blushing. I never forgot you, but I could never imagine that one day you would come to me. It was a fantasy, out of the realm of possibility. But I'm here, and I don't want to go anywhere. I'm afraid of losing you again. May I stay? I know I'm asking for too much. But now that we've met again, I want to make up for the lost time. I won't be able to sleep far away from you. Do you believe me? Don't stay silent, please. I'll accept any decision. If you say leave, I'll leave, but... Emily covered his mouth with her hand. Don't say anything more. Stay. I think I've gone crazy, she chuckled. I've never done anything more impulsive in my life. I was always the good girl. Maybe it's time to change something in life? Thank you, my love. Dylan began showering her face with kisses. Then he picked her up and carried her into the bedroom. That night was unforgettable for them. The man and the woman fell asleep in each other's arms only towards dawn. The first thing Emily discovered when she opened her eyes was her head resting on Dylan's shoulder. My God, this is not a dream, she smiled. My beloved is really with me. I was so afraid that I would open my eyes, and he wouldn't be there. Get up, dear, she gently kissed Dylan on the tip of his nose. It's time for work. I don't want to leave, the man said, stretching sweetly. You stay, the girl suddenly suggested. Stay with me forever. What do you think about that? Do you like the idea? I was afraid you'd send me away. Dylan sat up, leaned on his elbow, and looked at her with tenderness. Now I won't let you go. Emily laughed. You won't be able to run away from me a second time. They started living together in Emily's apartment. The girl felt like she was born again. If before she often stayed late at work, now she hurried home. Colleagues couldn't stop marveling at such a marvelous transformation. Emily, did you win the lottery? Or maybe you found a treasure. What's happening to you? Her colleagues asked, burning with curiosity. But the girl only mysteriously kept silent. Emily, Dylan said one day. Finally, I got the divorce. I'm officially free now, and we can get married. Will you marry me? I can't wait to call you my wife. You know, as strange as it may sound, I had already come to terms with the thought that no one would ever say those sacred words to me. She hugged the man. And it still feels like I'm dreaming a magical dream. But I don't want to wake up. Of course, I'll marry you. Let's just not have a lavish wedding, okay? Dylan asked. You won't mind, will you? Perhaps all girls dream of a wedding dress and an expensive limousine? That's not for me. I don't mind. We're adults. All these wedding troubles are for young, inexperienced girls. We're not so firmly on our feet to throw a grand wedding. In the evening, Dylan invited her to a restaurant. When they sat down at the table, the waiter brought a huge bouquet of flowers and placed it on the table. "Thank you, Dylan, it's nice." The girl closed her eyes, enjoying the scent of flowers. "Emily, I want everything to be real for us." He took out a velvet box from his pocket and opened it. Emily froze. An engagement ring adorned with cubic zirconia and a pearl sparkled with golden light. "This is a sign of my fidelity to you." The man put the ring on the girl's finger. "Thank you." Emily admired the jewelry. "The best of men loves me, and I have the most beautiful ring on my finger. That's happiness. I've made arrangements. We'll be officially registered in a week." The next day, Emily approached her colleague, with whom she was friends. "Caitlin, Dylan proposed to me," she announced. "Congratulations. I'm happy for you." "Really? Will you be my witness?" "We're registering in a week." "Yes, of course." The girl happily agreed. "We've decided not to have a wedding, just a registration, and then a small gathering at a restaurant." "Well, that's the right decision. What's the point of a wedding?" Dylan had a big wedding with his first wife, and what was the result? Exactly. A week later, the couple got married in the presence of witnesses and began a quiet family life, quite content with each other. "Are you happy?" asked her former classmate Leslie when they met again in a cafe. "Quite," the young woman shrugged. "Dylan is very caring, and we both earn well, not denying ourselves anything." "But something is bothering you," Leslie noticed. "You don't seem to be saying that married life brings you joy. The sparkle in your eyes has faded. Tell me, what's wrong? I thought you had everything you could wish for." "In our perfect life," Emily sadly smiled, "the only thing missing is a child." "So, what's the matter? You're still young." "Wait, does Dylan not want children, or is it you?" "Let's say, my husband avoids discussing this topic. Every time I bring up the subject of a child, he either remains silent or changes the subject." "Interesting, to live with the woman you love and not want children from her? That's something new. What are you waiting for? Time is passing. When do you plan to have kids, in retirement?" "Talk to him." "I don't know how to do that. He even leaves the house when I start talking about a child. I'm afraid of losing him." "Maybe it's because of his first marriage? He already has a daughter there. If you get pregnant, the baby will bring you even closer. Then Dylan surely won't go anywhere." "Yes, he won't go anywhere now. We are good together. If you only knew how attentive and caring he is. I think there's no happier person in the world than me. At least for now, but in a few years, you'll get tired of just admiring each other because life without children is empty. It's time to bring some change into your relationship." "Maybe you're right," Emily thoughtfully said. "The arrival of a baby would be a new stage in our life." On the eve of the new year, Emily was busy in the kitchen, awaiting her husband. She had specifically left work early to prepare everything before Dylan returned. A festively decorated Christmas tree blinked with multicolored lights in the corner of the living room. The girl in her evening dress was already standing in front of the mirror, adding the finishing touches to her appearance when the door clicked open. "Emily?" the man exclaimed in surprise as he entered the apartment and saw the set table. "When did you manage to prepare everything, my joy? And you put up a Christmas tree. I can feel the approaching holiday." "I asked for early leave from the boss," the young woman replied. "I wanted to surprise you, hurry up and change." "And you succeeded," he said, sitting down at the table. "Well, it's time to bid farewell to the old year." He poured wine into glasses. "For us?" "For us." Emily smiled. "Very tasty." praised her husband, enjoying the dinner. How great it would be, Emily cautiously began, if we had a baby. New Year is a family holiday. You know how our little one would delight in the Christmas tree. Don't start, please. I already have a daughter, the man frowned. She's enough for me. And besides, why do we need kids? Aren't we happy just the two of us? We are happy. The young woman replied fervently. But I feel somehow incomplete. Any woman dreams of children, and I'm no exception. I really want to give birth to a girl or a boy for you. Children mean diapers, sleepless nights. Dylan grimaced. And illnesses, too. Why bother? I've been through all of that, and I don't want it again. We won't be a burden to you, believe me. I'll take care of everything. Emily pleaded with her husband. The child will be an extension of both of us. How I dream of holding a little version of you in my arms, Dylan. Emily took her husband's hand and pulled him along. Today is a magical night. Don't you want to give me a gift? The best gift for me would be our little one. I'm begging you. Fine, surrendered the man and followed his wife to the bedroom. If you get pregnant, go ahead and give birth. I won't object. Maybe you're right, we need to change something in our lives. My love. Emily passionately embraced her husband and kissed him. I want to hear from the doctor soon that you will soon become a mother. 2 months passed. One day, Emily felt unwell and decided to go for a consultation. Congratulations. The doctor smiled at her. You will soon become a mother. I hope your husband will be happy with this news too. Of course. Emily declared enthusiastically. We've been looking forward to this event. That evening she shared the news with her husband. I hope this time it's a boy, Dylan spoke. Mind you, if you give birth to another girl, I won't take her from the maternity hospital. I already have a daughter. Why are you saying that? Emily smiled, fully confident that her husband was joking. As long as the baby is healthy. What difference does it make who is born? Dylan stared at his wife intently but didn't say anything more. Emily shivered under his gaze, her heart squeezed painfully. She tried to push away unpleasant thoughts. He's just expressing his opinion now, she reassured herself. The child will be born, and he'll change his mind. Why am I worrying? Maybe we'll indeed have a son. But during the first ultrasound, Emily heard from the elderly doctor. Well, dear, everything is fine. You will have a beautiful daughter, just like her mother. It's good that the first daughter, a helper, will grow up. And then, if you like, you can come back for a second. He chuckled. Wait, Emily was perplexed. Are you sure it will be a daughter? Maybe you made a mistake? I wanted a boy. I cannot be mistaken, the doctor took offense. Look for yourself. He printed out a photo for her. She's already a model, see how she turns so that you can examine her thoroughly. It's not often that such a clear photo can be taken. Well, it's good that it's a girl, the future mom thought to herself. The doctor is right, she'll grow up and be my helper. What will you tell Dylan? Her inner voice asked. He's expecting a son. Emily immediately felt a pang of guilt. I don't want to deceive him, but I won't get rid of the child, she replied to herself. Aren't you afraid? He can fulfill his threat. Her inner voice egged her on again and again. What did the doctor say? Dylan immediately asked when he learned that she had returned from the ultrasound. Come on, make me happy. A boy? If it's a girl, don't bother coming home, I won't accept her, Just so you know, I already have a daughter. If it's a girl, better go for an abortion right away. Enough of this women's kingdom from me." Deep down, Emily hoped her husband was joking, but just in case, she decided not to tell the truth. "No, darling, as you ordered, we're expecting a son," the woman lied as convincingly as possible. The doctor wasn't very confident in saying that, she cautiously added, laying the groundwork for a retreat. "But let's hope that there's an heir growing in my stomach. You're my golden girl." The husband rejoiced. I believed, you'll give birth to my son." He grabbed her in his arms, pressed her to himself, covering her face with kisses. "No doubts there," he stroked her belly, "my son. How happy I am. I'm ready to carry you in my arms until childbirth. I'll cherish you like the apple of my eye. First and foremost, you need to eat well. We need to check with the maternity clinic about the diet, find out what vitamins are needed for the expectant mother. Let's buy maternity clothes. I want you to be a stylish woman and look beautiful even with a baby bump. Have you gone mad? Why spend money? Where will I wear this clothes later?" Emily nervously laughed. She was ashamed to deceive her husband, her soul scratched like cats on the inside. "All right, you're not going to work anymore," Dylan ordered. "I earn enough to provide for us. Think about the baby. Now you have to take care not only of yourself, but also of the little one. My love," he announced one day, "today a team of workers will come. They'll renovate the room for our boy. I picked out the wallpaper myself. On one wall, we'll put up wallpaper with little cars. Do you like it? And I also ordered a crib, a going-home outfit, and a stroller. Look." He opened an online store page in front of her. "Agree, it's perfect for our boy. I chose the very best. Do you like it? Did you order everything in blue tones?" Emily asked nervously. "Of course, we're expecting a boy. Why order pink for him? I would like a bit of variety. And will the landlady be okay with the renovations?" "No, I've already arranged everything with her. Don't bother your head with household problems. I'll take care of everything. Your task is to eat well, walk more, and regularly visit the doctor. I want you and the little one to be healthy." The young woman was very worried about the upcoming childbirth. She was afraid to admit the deception to her husband. "I won't say anything to him until the due date," she decided. "And then he won't go anywhere. He'll have to accept the fact that we have a daughter. But what if he fulfills his threat?" Her fears gnawed at her. "No, it can't be. Dylan loves me. He says such things because things didn't work out with his first wife. We're different." "Dylan," Emily woke up one night and said fearfully, "I think I'm in labor." "Ouch." She immediately writhed in pain. "Hang on, my love." Dylan rushed around. "We'll call an ambulance. Everything will be fine. Soon, you'll give birth to our son. You can't imagine how much I'm looking forward to his arrival. I want to see who he'll resemble. Hold on, my good one." Emily was taken to the maternity hospital, and a few hours later, she gave birth to a healthy baby girl. Dylan was in agonizing anticipation. Every half hour, he approached the maternity ward window and inquired about his wife's condition. "How impatient you are, Daddy." The nurses laughed at him. "You'll have plenty of time to admire your heir." When he wanted to ask the same question again, the nurse preempted him. "Calm down, Daddy. Your wife gave birth. Congratulations, you have a girl." She said something else, but everything swam before Dylan's eyes. "A girl?" He yelled. "This can't be. Please check. We were expecting a son." "There's nothing to check," the nurse took offense. "It's definitely a girl." "What does this mean? Were we lied to during the ultrasound?" Or, he stopped, struck by a suspicion. "I want to see my wife," he declared. Immediately, Dylan decisively entered the maternity ward. "Have you gone crazy? Stop right now." The nurse ran after him. "You can't go there without a gown." "Ah, there you are." Dylan finally found Emily. She lay in bed, curled up under the blanket. "You deceived me?" The man roared in fury, rolling his eyes. "What did you hope for? When were you planning to tell me about our daughter? Leave the room immediately," the doctor sternly told Dylan, entering with the nurse. "You scared your wife. God forbid her milk disappears." "I don't care about the milk," Dylan continued to shout. "She deceived me, the creature. No need to make a scene here." The doctor tried to lead Dylan out of the room. In the doorway, midwives and young mothers gathered, stirred by the shouts. "I'll leave." Dylan abruptly pulled his hand out of the doctor's grip. "And you," he pointed a finger at his wife, "don't bother coming home. I warned you I didn't want a daughter. You should have had an abortion right away. I won't forgive this." The man pushed through the onlookers and left. Emily cried, curled up in a ball. "Don't be upset," the doctor tried to calm her, gently escorting the curious out of the room. "I think it's shock. Tomorrow he'll wake up and realize everything. He'll come and apologize." The roommates returned and immediately began to comfort the young woman. "The doctor is right. Your husband is in shock. Just think about it. He expected a boy, and a girl was born. Anyone in his place would be upset. Don't take it to heart. He'll calm down when he realizes how close he came to rejecting his daughter. Don't worry. I gave birth to a fifth daughter," one of the roommates shared. "And nothing, my husband didn't kick me out. We were hoping for a boy so much, I even had an ultrasound, but she turned away and didn't want to show herself. And you can't put her back. Why doesn't your Dylan understand that? It'll work out, men are like that. They blurt out something in the heat of the moment and don't even realize what they said. Don't take it too close to heart. It's better to worry about your daughter." Emily listened to the advice of experienced mothers, spending all her time with the little one she named Sarah. "My daughter, Sarah," the young mother whispered, examining the baby while she sucked contentedly on the breast. "We'll be home soon, and our dad is waiting for us there. Dad loves us. You are my lovely one." Beautiful. But the comfort was weak. Dylan didn't call or visit once. On the day of discharge, Emily was anxious. She wrapped her daughter in a blue blanket, the one Dylan had prepared for the son, and, along with other mothers, went to the maternity ward hall. Happy fathers met their wives, receiving squeaking envelopes from the midwives. One father was bewildered when handed twins. He looked from one child to the other with such inexhaustible joy in his eyes that Emily envied him. She stood alone on the side, holding her daughter in one hand and a bag of things in the other. "Why are you standing here?" the janitor asked, coming to wash the floor after the visitors. "Didn't Dad come?" "He'll come," Emily replied, but it didn't sound convincing. "He's just late. I'll call him again now." The girl snorted. "Well, wait. Tears welled up in the eyes of the young mother. She dialed the unfamiliar number again and again, but Dylan didn't answer. "He won't come," the janitor spoke again. "It's clear as day." You'll have to leave because I need to close the door. The discharge for mothers is over, that's the rule. Maybe call a taxi? She looked expectantly at Emily, impatiently shifting from foot to foot. No, thanks, the young woman refused. She couldn't admit that she didn't have the money to pay the driver. Emily hugged her little one, picked up the bag, and went outside. She heard the door slam behind her. What should we do, my sunshine? The woman lifted a corner of the blanket and looked at the baby, who was fast asleep. I won't take the bus. What if we catch some illness? We'll walk. It's not that far home. And at home, we'll ask Daddy strictly why he didn't come to meet us. Don't worry, my little one, Mom won't let anyone hurt you. She smiled at her daughter, raised the bag, and marched toward home. An hour later, exhausted, Emily sat down on a bench near the familiar entrance. Well, my little one, she said, trying to catch her breath. We're almost home. A little more, and I'll feed you, wash you, and put you to sleep. Then I'll be able to rest. Honestly, I want to eat. Making an effort, the young woman opened the entrance door and went up the stairs. Putting the bag on the concrete floor, she inserted the key into the lock but couldn't open it. Strange. Did Dylan leave the key in the lock or change the lock? Then she pressed the doorbell. Who are you? A thick, unfamiliar woman opened the door. What do you want? Why are you breaking into my apartment? I'll call the police. I actually live here, Emily replied, taken aback. And where's Dylan? I don't know any Dylan, I live here. I'm sorry, but there must be a mistake. My husband and I rented this apartment. Oh. The stranger grimaced. Are these your things in the corner? She put a large bag on the landing. If it's yours, take it. If not, I'll throw it in the trash. This bag has been bothering me for days. I have to move it around. But I don't understand why you took our apartment. What's there not to understand? The landlady rented it to me. Any more questions? No? Goodbye. The woman slammed the door in Emily's bewildered face. She decided to call the landlady. Hello, this is Emily. Why did you rent out the apartment? We paid for 3 months in advance. I was discharged from the maternity ward, and there are strangers in the apartment. How can this be? Paid? Open your pocket wider. The woman on the other end of the line was seriously angry. Your husband cheated me. You've been living in debt for the last months. He, scoundrel, kept asking to wait, crying that his salary was delayed at work and you were getting ready to give birth. He asked for a deferral. I, out of kindness, believed him, accommodated him, and he, ungrateful wretch, didn't even pay the utilities, ran away like a coward. Well, where should I go? I have a little child with me. The young woman was ready to burst into tears. It's not my problem. If there was a contract, I would shake the debt off you in court. You wouldn't get away with it. But now, there's no point in getting into disputes. So, get away from my apartment and don't dare to cross my path. Why did I even get involved with you? The woman angrily hung up. Emily took a big bag outside and sat on a bench, still holding her daughter. Where do we go now? She said, confused. Her daughter began to fidget in the blanket, getting ready to wake up. My dear, be patient, her mother begged, feverishly dialing a phone number. I know you're hungry, but we need to find shelter. We'll call Aunt Leslie now and ask her to take us in for a while. Leslie! The woman exclaimed joyfully, hearing a familiar voice on the phone. Leslie, I want to visit you. Can you let us in? Just the two of us. Emily, Leslie responded apologetically, I'm on vacation and won't be back soon. I would gladly let you in, but... Forgive me, please, I'll call someone else. What happened? Were you kicked out of the apartment? Why isn't Dylan looking for a place? Why are you dealing with this? I'll tell you everything later. Emily hurriedly ended the conversation. She began to call another acquaintance. Catherine, hello, I got into an unpleasant situation. We were kicked out of the apartment. Could you shelter me and my daughter for at least a week until I find housing? Emily, she heard in response, if you were alone, I would gladly help you. But with a nursing baby, excuse me, I can't. My young man would be strongly against it. Emily heard short beeps on the other end and cried. Her daughter whimpered, and the woman began to soothe her, swallowing tears. People passed by, indifferently glancing at the young mother with a baby in her arms, but no one stopped or offered help. The woman, after crying and regaining some composure, stood up, trying to calm the baby who started to squirm, indicating that she wanted to eat. Sarah, her mother begged, don't cry, I'll figure something out. Now we'll go to the park, there are comfortable benches. We'll sit there, and I'll feed you. Oh, if you only knew how hungry I am myself. I don't know what I'll do, I have no money. Yes, and this bag is heavy. Where to put it? Leave it here? But all my things are in it, it's a pity to abandon it. Well, sit or not, but we need to move forward. She tried to pick up the bag, but there was no strength left. Then Emily dragged it along the ground, holding the baby to her chest. Somehow reaching the nearest park, she sat on a secluded bench, relieved herself of the bag, turned away from curious eyes, and began to feed her daughter. That's it, my dear, she said tenderly, looking at the baby. Eat, gain strength. At least one of us will be fed. After feeding Sarah, Emily sat more comfortably, hugging the baby tightly. What are we going to do? Where to stay? The woman feverishly searched for a way out of the situation, but she dismissed all the options. Imagine, my little one, we have nowhere to go. No one needs us, you and me. Emily cried from self-pity. She didn't know how long she sat on the bench. At some point, it seemed to her that she even dozed off, her head helplessly dropping to her chest. Suddenly, waking up abruptly, she opened her eyes. It's already evening, Emily whispered. Where can we find shelter for you and me, Sarah? And staying here is not an option. We could end up in the police or run into troublemakers. Oh, if it weren't for this bag. She kicked it with her foot and looked embarrassed. A poorly dressed woman passed by, and Emily watched her. Suddenly, the stranger stopped, turned around, and approached the peculiar pair. Why are you sitting here? Aren't you afraid? She asked, scrutinizing Emily attentively. Do you have nowhere to go? Emily felt a sting in her nose, and tears welled up in her eyes. Nowhere, she whispered, shrinking under the sympathetic gaze of the woman. I see. Then get up, come with me. Where to? I'll arrange a place for you to stay. Or do you plan to stay here? Emily was ready to go anywhere. She stood up abruptly and almost stumbled. Your legs are giving out, the woman whispered again, sitting back on the bench. I can see you're completely exhausted. The stranger helped her to her feet and waved to someone in the darkness. Some dark figures appeared immediately. Some picked up the heavy bag, others took the young woman by the arms and led her somewhere. You'll spend the night here. They stopped in front of an old 2-story house. Tomorrow we'll figure out what to do with you. They settled her in a room with 2 other women, each with a little baby. Do you have something to change the baby into? The stranger asked. Yes, thank you. I'd like to wash her and freshen up a bit myself. Let's do this. The baby is sleeping, leave her on the bed, and I'll take you to the dining hall. No, no. Emily protested. I need to wash and change my daughter first. You need to eat first, or you'll soon collapse from hunger. Or, God forbid, your milk will dry up. How will you feed the baby then? By the way, I thought you had a boy. The envelope is blue. Dad wanted a boy, Emily blushed. But Sarah was born. I see, the woman chuckled understandingly. They came to the dining hall. Unkempt people sat at a long table. No one paid attention to Emily, everyone was engrossed in their food. No one lifted their eyes or spoke. The young woman shuddered. Don't be afraid, the stranger reassured her. No one will harm you here. These are people who, like you, have nowhere to go. Welcome to the homeless shelter. Emily was fed, then she washed herself, bathed the baby, changed her, fed her, and put her to sleep, lying down next to her. She fell asleep immediately. Fatigue and emotions took their toll. In the middle of the night, she woke up to feed her daughter. I can't believe it, she thought, listening to the baby's steady breathing. I'm in a homeless shelter. How could this happen to me? How could I be so wrong about Dylan? Tears of hurt welled up in her eyes. Why did he do this to us? He swore he loved me. Is this how you treat someone you love? Abandon them on the street. He didn't even call, didn't inquire about us. What if this woman hadn't stopped, hadn't picked me up? We could have perished. Emily cried, and her daughter whimpered. Doesn't he have a heart at all? Sarah is his daughter. How can you reject your own child? Abandon us to fate. What a fool I am. He did the same thing once. How could I believe that something like this couldn't happen to me? She cried. Hey! A woman suddenly heard. What's wrong with you? Why are you crying? A roommate came up to her, shook her shoulder. Don't cry, everything will be fine with you now. Emily cried even harder. She was struck by the compassion of a completely unfamiliar person. She remembered how her friends refused to help. Sobbing tore outward. What should we do with her? The crying woman heard. We'll have to call Gracie. If she doesn't stop, all the kids here will wake up. No, don't call anyone, Emily said, sobbing. I'm okay now. Stop crying, one of the women said sternly. Found a reason to cry, did you? Did your husband leave? Emily nodded silently. TSK. We've got plenty like that here. Husbands kicking them out, or the kids. And they go on living. Be glad you're not alone, you have a child now. Men are all scoundrels. Can't trust anyone, and crying over them is the last thing you should do. Emily cried even harder, out of self-pity, anger at her husband, and despair. Calm down, you'll wake the kids. We had a family, a home, and now there's nothing, Emily said, sobbing convulsively. Think we've all lived on the streets forever? Everyone has their own fate, and we got used to it. And you'll get used to it too. No, I'll never get used to this, she cried. We all thought the same in the first few days. You cry it out, it'll get easier. Right now, you need to think about the child, forget about the husband. Consider yourself lucky, who knows when his dark side would have shown. Stop crying, he's not worth your tears. Emily wrapped herself tighter in the blanket, trying to muffle her sobs from the neighbors. She held her daughter close. The child took a long time to fall asleep. In the middle of the night, She fed Sarah again, and then she herself fell into a troubled sleep without realizing it. In the first few days, the young woman couldn't come to terms with her new situation. Waves of despair overwhelmed her, and she couldn't hold back the tears. She cried and cried. She refused to eat, but the neighbors brought food to her room and forced her to eat. Look at her, Emily heard one day as she lay, turned away from the neighbors, staring blankly at the wall. She refuses to eat. Crying from morning till night, we don't know what to do with her. Hey, someone touched her shoulder. What's your name? Emily. She turned at the sound and sat up. Before her stood the woman who had brought her to the shelter. I'm Grace. Stop throwing a tantrum. You don't have the right to fall apart. Met a scoundrel, and you think life has stopped? No, my dear, no. You have to live for this bundle of joy. She took Sarah into her arms. And by no means do what I did once. Look at this wonderful baby. You have a reason to live. You are responsible for her. Don't forget, she'll perish without you. Do you want to leave her an orphan? Don't repeat other people's mistakes. What did you do? Emily asked, wiping away tears. I lost my daughter, the Savior answered calmly. She was a little one, just like this, tiny and very cute. I gave birth to her in prison. In prison? Emily was astonished. You think I'm here for a good life? Grace grimly smiled. Emily took a closer look at her, not old yet, but beaten down by life, hair with streaks of gray, eyes hiding suppressed sadness. Come on, let's take a walk, the woman suggested. It's good for you to get some fresh air. Otherwise, you'll be bedridden soon. Emily wrapped her daughter even tighter and followed Grace outside. The woman led her to the park surrounding the shelter. Here we can talk without anyone bothering us, she said, sitting on a thick fallen tree. Emily sat down beside her, holding the little one close. A banal story. There are fates in the shelter much more interesting than mine. I had a fiancé, Torres. I loved him to distraction, was ready to do anything for him. And an opportunity presented itself. My fiancé decided to earn some money for our wedding. Couldn't do it legally, so he got involved in a scam, distributing, you know what. But no matter how you twist the rope, there's always an end. Soon, the police showed up at our apartment. They found a package. Torres convinced me to take the blame because he couldn't go to jail. He'd be sentenced for a long time. And I would get only a suspended sentence because I was pregnant. He promised that his parents would hire a good lawyer, and I would be free right away. Why couldn't he go to jail? He already had a suspended sentence, so he would definitely go to jail for a long time. To save my beloved from prison, I led the investigation astray. The investigator, of course, saw through me immediately. I was a clueless, naive girl, couldn't lie. But I insisted on my version and got a real sentence, and pregnancy didn't save me. Torres was also interrogated for a long time, investigated. But there was no direct evidence. He denied everything. Claimed he didn't know about my affairs. And then his parents bribed whoever needed to be bribed, and they let him go. The investigator had no choice but to send the case to court. Couldn't the lawyer help you? I had a public defender. Torres deceived me. His parents didn't want to spend money on my defense. For them, everything was already behind them. Their son was home. And for me? They sentenced me to the full term, proving complicity in the crime and accusing me of giving false testimony. Grace fell silent. Only in prison did I realize that I was an unwanted bride for my fiancé's parents. And my daughter was just a hindrance to them. That's how it was. When she turned a month old, they took her away from me, didn't even explain where. How could they take her away? Emily was astonished. Can they do that? I kept the conversation short. Did you look for her afterward when you got released? Emily hesitated. When you were free? Of course, I looked. But, you see, I found nothing. All traces were erased as if I never had a daughter. And your fiancé? Did he take the girl? Torres's parents immediately married him to the right bride and sent him abroad. Where he is, I never found out. I visited their house, but by then, no one lived there anymore. The gardener, though, confirmed that the girl lived there for some time, but not for long. They gave my daughter to be raised by some elderly woman in the village. The details he didn't know. I tried to find her, but it was all in vain. Everywhere, I ran into a solid wall of silence. And how did you cope with all of this? Grace looked at Emily with a wry smile. I chose the simplest available method, started drinking. Fortunately, I came to my senses in time. Fate brought me together with those who were homeless, like me. I ended up in this shelter. Now I live and work here, helping the orphans and the poor. And you, besides your husband, don't you have anyone else? She asked. Where are your parents? My grandmother raised me, Emily replied. I never knew anything about my parents. She never told me about them. I don't know why, but it seems to me she never loved me. She raised me as if it were a heavy duty. We lived together, and I felt unnecessary, superfluous. So, when I finished school, I immediately left for the city and, without thinking, applied to the first university I came across just to avoid living with her. You can't imagine how happy I was to pass the competition. It felt like I had thrown off a burden from my shoulders. I always dreamed of having a family. Emily smiled sadly. So, I eagerly awaited the birth of my little girl. Tears welled up in her eyes again. And you know, Aunt Grace, you are the only one who has shown me any sympathy. Thank you for not passing me by. I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't stopped. Nothing threatens you now. Pull yourself together, start a new life. You are a mother, you have no right to panic and give in to despair. I'm sure everything will work out, and you will be happy. Yes, you are already happy because you are not alone. I'll try, Emily smiled through her tears. A year flew by imperceptibly. Emily remained among the homeless. Sarah grew up, and Emily could now contribute to the shelter. Emily, Grace would sometimes ask her, we have a newcomer. Bring him up to speed, otherwise, we're overwhelmed. Put him in the room with the elderly men and feed him. It's clear he hasn't eaten for a long time. Just be careful, he might overeat due to hunger. Make sure he sees a doctor. Okay, I'll tell him everything and show him around. Don't worry, Aunt Grace. Thank you. What would we do without you? So much work, simply inconceivable. You're worth your weight in gold. And Emily, leaving little Sarah under the care of another mother in the playpen, went to settle another homeless person. Emily, a pleasant-looking woman, peeked into the room one day. The shelter director is calling for you. At that moment, she was talking to Grace and playing with her daughter. I wonder why she needs me, Emily wondered. Aunt Grace, can you watch Sarah while I'm gone? Sure, the woman replied, taking the girl into her arms. She's so well behaved, it's a pleasure to spend time with her. Isn't that right, sweetheart? The little girl happily cooed, nestled in the woman's arms. Emily, timidly knocking on the door, entered the director's office. Ah, Emily, The middle-aged woman with kind eyes and a disarming smile greeted her. Some stranger is looking for you. Social services called, asking if you live here. I told them you were here. I wrote down this woman's address, name, and surname. She handed Emily a piece of paper. Her phone number is here. The woman watched Emily's expression carefully. She saw Emily raise her eyebrows in surprise. Maybe they made a mistake? Or do you know her after all? No mistake, Emily muttered. It's my grandmother. Oh, really? The director had to express surprise. I thought you had no relatives. We haven't been in touch for a long time. Our relationship didn't work out somehow. But I don't understand why she needs me now, especially so urgently. Maybe something serious happened if she suddenly wants to meet you. Are you going? Yes, apparently something serious indeed happened, otherwise she wouldn't be looking for me. I'll have to go. I'll introduce her to Sarah along the way. Emily returned to her room in confusion. What happened? Grace asked sympathetically, handing her daughter back to her. You look troubled. I don't even know if I should be happy or upset, Emily replied. My grandmother suddenly wants to meet. You never mentioned her. Are you going? Is it far? Yes, I have to. I wonder what she wants to tell me. We don't have the best relationship. I haven't been home in a long time, and she hasn't been too interested in my life. She doesn't even know I've had a child. Do you want me to come with you? Grace suggested. It's more convenient together. And what if there's some catch? I can help protect you and Sarah. Are you okay with that? Oh! Emily exclaimed happily. That would be wonderful. And you can help with Sarah too. Traveling with a little child alone is not easy. Besides, I'll feel more confident with my grandmother. I can imagine how she'll react when she finds out I had a child without a husband. She already didn't like me much, and now she might not even let us in. Remember, you have somewhere to come back to, even if your grandmother refuses to take you in. The women set off for the village where Emily had lived for many years. Grandma, hello, the young woman said. She noticed from a distance that the old lady was sweeping the yard. Who are you? Mrs. Sanchez squinted, scrutinizing the unfamiliar faces. What a pained look she has, Emily thought to herself. She was always strong, hardly ever got sick. What happened to her? Out loud, she said, Grandma, don't you recognize me? It's me, Emily, your granddaughter. Ah, Emily? I've been waiting for you. You've changed so much, I didn't recognize you for real. Well, hello. And who's on your arms? Whose child is this? This is my daughter, Sarah. Nice to meet you, she's your great-granddaughter. Daughter, you say? And where's the husband? Why did you come alone? No husband. Wandered off, I suppose. The old woman shook her head disapprovingly. I didn't expect you to come to me like this. You were always so modest. I must have raised you poorly. But what, didn't you get married? No one asked? I was married, don't think I wandered off. It's just that my husband abandoned us, me and my daughter. I wanted to see you, they told me, Emily asked after a short pause. Why? We have little time, we need to return today. Yes, I was waiting for you. I was afraid I wouldn't have time to tell you everything. And who is this with you? Who is this woman? This is Aunt Grace, my acquaintance and savior. She's helping me with Sarah. Ah, the elderly woman exclaimed again. Well, come inside, or people will say I don't allow guests. I'm not the same anymore, frequently falling ill, and my heart is acting up. It's not easy living alone. She led them straight to the kitchen. Sit down, I'll set the table now. She placed pastries and raspberry jam on the table. Help yourselves, it's what God sent. I don't have a variety of snacks. Grandma, you didn't call me just to treat me to tea, did you? Tell me, why did you need me? Emily asked. Yes, you're right, the elderly woman sighed heavily. I don't have much time left, don't interrupt, she stopped Emily, seeing her granddaughter about to say something. I want to ease my conscience before I die. I can't bear this weight in my heart any longer. I am a great sinner, very guilty before you. I don't know if you'll ever forgive me. She fell silent, collecting herself, and then declared, You're not my granddaughter, we're strangers. There, I've said it. Mrs. Sanchez looked at Emily, and it's immediately easier. Both my heart and I feel lighter without this burden. You can't imagine what it's like to keep someone else's secret. Grandma, gasped Emily. What are you saying? How can you say I'm not your own? Did you decide to disown me? But why? What did I do? Do you think I've lost my mind, old as I am? She sadly smirked. No, I'm in my right mind and have a clear memory. I wish I could turn back time, forget everything like a bad dream, but it won't happen. I committed a great sin, all for money, damn it. I don't understand. The young woman looked at the person she considered her grandmother until recently, closer and dearer to her than anyone else in the world, except for her daughter, of course. Yes, there's nothing to understand. I was given the responsibility of raising you, and they paid well for your upkeep, and I did my best to take care of you. I admit I was often unfair to you, forgive me. I was tempted by a round sum. Who could resist such a gift of fate? Thanks to you, I've lived all these years comfortably. If you're not my real grandmother, then who are my true parents? Emily exhaled. I don't know anything about your parents, I've never seen them. Some people came. They didn't give their names, signed a contract. I signed the papers and never saw them again. But they paid regularly, there's no harm in that. I had enough money from them for your maintenance every month. But why didn't you speak up earlier? Those funds would have solved many of my problems. I wouldn't be living in a shelter now, I almost died on the streets. I repent. I wanted my grandson to marry you, so I kept the money from you. I hoped that by getting married, my grandson would become wealthy. The money accumulated quite a bit. So I didn't spend it. But he, like a fool, chose someone else. Blasted fool. And what kind of person did he turn out to be? Where is he? He's gone, my grandson perished, the old woman sobbed. It's been half a year since he's gone. So all my efforts went in vain. Maybe God punished me for deception. Yes, I'm also on borrowed time. I don't know how much time I have left, so I decided to tell you everything as it is. I don't want to go to the grave with a heavy heart. Look, your daughter is growing up. Maybe the money won't be superfluous for you. Don't be angry with me. I really thought something would work out for you and my grandson over the years. So, I have a real grandmother. Who is she? Do you have her address? I would like to meet her. You won't be able to meet her. She passed away. May she rest in peace. The old woman crossed herself. There wouldn't be anything good from meeting her if she never visited you in all these years. You're not needed in that family. They got rid of you like a stray dog. Why did you have to deceive me? I don't understand anything. Some mysteries, secrets. For what? And why did you decide to reveal all this to me only now? I should have known the truth a long time ago. I have the right to it. Why did they get rid of me? Do you want to know the truth? Why do you need it? You probably won't be pleased to learn that your mother is Grace. What will she give you, a prison warden? A prison warden? Emily asked incredulously. Why was she imprisoned? And where is she now? In prison? And my father? Who is my father? Tell me what you know. Your mother probably got out already. I didn't inquire much about the details, and my employers weren't very talkative. As for your father, Torres, he doesn't want to acknowledge you. He abandoned your mother as soon as he found out she was pregnant. Disappeared and never showed up. Never once cared about how you were living. Wait, Torres? How is that possible? Emily exclaimed in disbelief. Are you sure you're not mistaken? You haven't figured it out yet? Your relatives didn't want anyone to guess who your real parents were and where to find you. Most of all, they didn't want your mother to find you, and they did everything to prevent that. But why? The woman cried, almost in tears. Why did they do this to me? I don't know. I didn't ask, and I didn't care at that time. Why would I need that? I was interested in money at that moment. Besides money, I couldn't think of anything else. Now that Grandma is gone, I'll never know who my real parents are. How strange, Emily shifted her gaze from one woman to another. An hour ago, I had some kind of family, and now, it turns out, I'm nobody? This is not my home? If you want, you can find your parents, Mrs. Sanchez slyly smiled. I kept a photo of your grandmother. Since she's no longer in this world, I can show it to you. She rummaged again in the tin box, found a photo, and handed it to Emily. The photograph is certainly old, but the picture showed a well-groomed, confident woman. Someone not used to hearing the word no. Beautiful, Emily commented, handing the photo to Grace, who hadn't uttered a word during the conversation. How sad that I will never know who my real mother was. And I will never know where she is now. I'm here, Grace replied quietly. I'm with you, my daughter. What? Emily stared at her in confusion. What does this have to do with you? This prison warden, that's me. How? The young woman was bewildered. Does this mean you? That's right, I'm your mother, Emily. And this, she pointed to the photo, is my mother-in-law and your grandmother, Mrs. Laura Smith. I recognized her. Exactly. Mrs. Sanchez exclaimed. I remembered, her name was indeed Laura Smith. So, you are the Grace they were talking about? Well, what do you know? An unexpected turn. Don't believe in fate now. How is this possible? You're my mother? It turns out so. Grace stared intensely at the young woman. An awkward silence hung in the room. So, that's why I was irresistibly drawn to you. Emily smiled shyly. You know, I'm glad you're my mom. This is the kind of mother I always dreamed of, caring and gentle. Probably our meeting in the park wasn't a coincidence. Daughter. The woman stepped towards her, opening her arms wide. Mom. Emily embraced her and started crying. Why are you crying, silly? I'm here with you now. I can't believe it. I searched for you for so many years. I even gave up, accepted that I would never see my daughter, and here you are. Mom. How I dreamed of saying that word. I'm glad it's you, my mom. You. Grace, kissing her, laughed. Call me you. My little daughter. She stroked Emily's head. What happiness it is to find both a daughter and a granddaughter at once. I had already grown attached to both of you and considered you my own, my family. Living alone became so tiresome for me. But now, the three of us. Not without money, the homeowner chimed in. No one paid attention to her. Mrs. Sanchez's continued mumbling something to herself, but the women ignored her. Mommy. Sweetheart. Emily. They embraced, laughing and crying, as if they had just met. They kissed Sarah. The little one, not understanding what was happening, also kissed one, then the other. Thank you, Grandma, for everything, Emily said, saying goodbye to the old lady. Despite everything, you will always be my grandma. Don't hold a grudge against me, she pleaded. I was sometimes unfair to you. The main thing is that you helped me find a family, decided to tell the truth. I'm very grateful to you for that. Even if only now, I found my real mom. May God bless you, dear, said the elderly woman as they said their goodbyes. She stood there, still standing at the gate, watching Emily and Grace. What are you going to do now? Grace asked when they returned to the city. I need to find out the amount in my account. I want to go to the bank. Do you seriously believe there might be money there? The mother looked at her distrustfully. I really hope so. We'll need it. It doesn't matter what amount is there. Sarah is growing up, and for now, I can't work. We need something to live on. Grace and the little one stayed outside, and Emily entered the nearest bank branch. Hello, the woman smiled hesitantly. Can I help you with something? The manager asked, wearing a forced smile. In his eyes, Emily noticed a disdain with which he looked at the poorly dressed woman. She could see that he would gladly show her out of the bank, but following instructions, he had to listen to her. I would like to know the details of this account. She handed the young man a paper and her passport. We will certainly check everything, he said, taking the paper with 2 fingers. But you will have to wait. The procedure will take some time. I understand, the woman kindly replied. And I am ready to wait. The manager entered the data into the computer. He nervously swallowed after receiving information about the balance of the account. Uncovered envy lit up in his eyes. Miss Emily, he replaced the disdain and dissatisfaction with open courtesy. Here are the details of your account. If you want to withdraw cash, you should go to the central office of our bank. I wrote the address down here. Emily, stunned, looked at the numbers. Is this really my account? The young woman was taken aback by the unexpectedness. She couldn't even imagine what amount awaited her. Yes, there can be no mistake. She took the bank statement and went to her mother, who was waiting for her outside. Well, the woman asked. Instead of an answer, the daughter handed her the piece of paper. Grace gasped in surprise. This amount will be enough for a decent apartment and furnishings, said Emily, still not believing in her luck. We won't have to live in a shelter anymore. You understand, Mom? We'll have our own home. In a burst of joy, she hugged her mother, kissed her daughter. After all, your adoptive grandmother found a drop of conscience to return the money. Grace, smiling, looked at Emily. And my mother-in-law turned out to have some compassion too. Of course, she didn't expect us to find each other, but she will never know that. The main thing is that she secured your future. The next day, the young woman started searching for a suitable place to live, and within a month, she moved into her new apartment. Here we are, Emily said, walking through the rooms, holding Sarah in her arms. This is where we'll live, sweetheart. Mom, she turned to Grace, you will come to us, right? Do you really want that? Of course, Emily replied fervently. We'll have a real family. I think we're rushing things, Grace cautiously remarked. We need time to get used to each other. You don't really know me. Mama, Emily hugged her, believe it or not. I instantly felt a kindred spirit in you. I really want you to move in with us, and Sarah loves you. But I'm a convict. I'm afraid it might harm your reputation, the woman tried to object. And we won't tell anyone, Emily winked. Hardly anyone will be interested in who we are and where we came from. For me, it doesn't matter who you were in your past life. What matters is that you're my mom. And besides, you ended up in prison because of someone you loved. It's not your fault that he turned out to be ungrateful. You and Sarah are my closest and dearest. I love you. Eventually, Grace succumbed to Emily's persuasions and moved in with her daughter. One day, Emily visited her mother. She had bought a car and could now move around the city independently. Grace still worked at the shelter but had become a social work specialist rather than a simple employee. Grace had changed, become more confident. The shuffling elderly gait had disappeared, her shoulders straightened, and a spark returned to her eyes. Even the gray hair became less noticeable. Go home, Grace kissed her daughter and then her granddaughter. I'll manage on my own. We'll wait for you. I'll prepare something delicious, Emily promised. Her mother went out onto the porch to see them off. Climbing the steps towards them was an unkempt, long-bearded man who hadn't bathed in a long time. Not old yet, flashed in Emily's mind when she examined the stranger more closely. At first, she thought he looked elderly. Yes, life probably hit him hard. His eyes, his walk were painfully familiar. No, it can't be, raced through her mind. The newcomer, Grace sighed in response. He became disabled after the accident, lost part of his memory. He started rehabilitation, and there was even improvement, but then everything had to be canceled. Why? Doesn't he have family? No one to pay for him? The man, taking a few steps, turned and stared at them. He wanted to say something but changed his mind. He shook his head disapprovingly and entered the building. He does have family, Grace sneered. But his wife felt sorry to spend money on him. Pleasure is not cheap, so she kicked him out onto the street. Poor thing. He wandered to us and just stayed. Don't feel sorry for him, Mom. Everyone gets what they deserve. We'll go now, it's time to leave. We'll be waiting for you at home. You're talking about what just happened. Grace looked at Emily in surprise. Do you know this guy? Emily didn't answer, just kissed her mother and hugged her daughter tighter. As she left, she looked back at the door behind which the man disappeared. Of course, Emily recognized Dylan. Surprisingly, she realized that she no longer felt anything for him. Not even pity.